there's a topwater fish. Good fish. Good fish. Got a mouthful of a chugger. Oh, yes. All right. Ooh, I don't want to get a hook in me, so I'll grab him like that. Hey everybody, this is your Southwest Outdoors Report. We're on Amon Lake today, and I want to show you, this is just bass paradise in here. This shoreline has got rock, it's got grass and weeds right along the shoreline, and as you can see all around me, it's got standing timber, all kinds of stumps. It's got everything that a bass could possibly want. The fish are kind of skinny out here. The fish have spawned out all across our region. The bass are finished spawning. They're kind of in that post-spawn time when they'll start biting topwaters. We'll let that one go back. That one bit a little gold chugger right there. So bass are on moving baits right now. Spinner baits, topwaters, frogs, rattling baits, crankbaits. Those are the kind of baits you want to be throwing for the next few weeks before it starts getting really hot. One other thing I want to mention, you can catch a lot of fish on the windy side. Don't neglect going over to the windy side where those waves are crashing in and throwing a spinnerbait or a crankbait, something in those waves. A lot of times you can get well fishing the windy side of the lake if you can manage to hold the boat. Here's Brian Hughes with your Texas freshwater fishing report, the Lone Star Lakes.
Hi everybody, welcome to Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Snag Proof Lures. Now, the sand bass, white, sandies, they're out of the creeks and back out on the main lake points. Lakes like Ray Roberts, Richland Chambers, and Livingston, you'll find them on wind-blown points. If they're on top, throw pop-Rs and torpedoes at them. If they're a little bit lower, you can get away with deep-diving crankbaits, but small ones. Spinnerbaits, again small, or of course, slabs will work as well. Crappie, they've moved out to the deeper haunts. They're out in brush piles on Toledo Bend, somewhere between 18 and 25 feet already. And of course, if you're going over to Sam Rayburn, you'll find them a little shallower, about 15 feet deep. Again, gather brush piles. Use your electronics, find several brush piles, mark them on your GPS, then go back and start at the beginning, working them one by one until you find a load of crappie. And finally, bass fishing. The bluegill are up spawning, and the bass are taking advantage of this by eating them as they're up in the shallows. So use bluegill colored lures, things with your chartreuse tail in June bug type colors. Throw those up in the shallows and watch for the big bass to come get them. You'll find them doing this on Conroe as well as Lake Fork and Palestine. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Snag Proof Lures. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, this week's report is brought to you by Team TTF, producers of the killer baits and the all-new Stingmate, Stingray First Aid Kit, and Jellyfish Sting Relief Gel. Don't go wade fishing without either one of them. Pick them up at your favorite tackle retailer or visit the website on your screen. Well, for weeks I've been telling you that speckled trout are making their way up the land cut after having wintered in the Gulf. Some of the first arriving specks are starting to fan out around Rocky Slough and making their way to other areas near the mouth of Baffin Bay. With this migration, it's easy to also see where other trout have made a move as these fish have come through East Cut at Port Mansfield. Other areas that continue to see speckled trout fanning out are in behind St. Joe Island, either side of Pascavallo at Port O'Connor, East Galveston Bay, as well as around Pelican Island and the south end of Sabine Pass. Besides watching shorelines, anglers should also keep an eye peeled for seagulls picking over bait fish driven to the surface by feeding specks and reds. Under feeding birds, it may be necessary to increase the weight of the jig head to get it down to better quality fish that are below the small schoolie trout. This weekend, Saturday has a single tide schedule of one high and one low tide. Sunday has a single high tide as the only tide of the day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Hey, before we go to the next commercial break, I want to show you something real interesting, and you don't see this every day when you're out fishing. I mentioned earlier that the bass had finished spawning, and here's one of the ways I know, in addition to the water temperature. Right in front of the boat here, you can see that forked double stump right there. We're going to zoom in with the camera here and show you that all gathered in there are thousands and thousands of little baby largemouth bass fry After the spawn, those fish hatch out, they migrate in clusters, big schools, and they'll stick real close to cover, trying to keep from getting eaten. And that does show that the fishery that you're on, including this one, is very healthy, that you've had a real good spawn just this spring. Watch out for that in your local lake. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have your big fish photos and the big catch of the week, and Heather will have your Stren Ask the Pro.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by your Texas Chevy dealers, is brought to you by Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. By Stren, the standard of dependability. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. And by Motor Guide, never stop. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by your Texas Chevy dealers.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for our Ask the Pro feature, brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability. Our question this week is from Eric in San Antonio, who writes, what is a good technique when the wind quits? The lake is like glass and the sun is straight overhead. Let's check in with nine-time classic qualifier Edwin Evers of Oklahoma for the answer.
That's a tough condition. You know, anytime you got really sunny skies and no wind at all, that's when I turn to plastic. That's when I'm going to throw like a yum ding or a weightless yum ding or a weightless worm, or maybe a Carolina rig or something down on the bottom, something that I can move slow, and that's what I have found to be the most successful in those conditions.
Thank you, Edwin. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Click on the Stren Ask the Pro link and send us your information. Now let's get you back to Barry for our Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
This week on the Big Catch of the Week, all bank fishermen take heart, because this big bass was caught off the shoreline. Congratulations this week to Johnny Helfenstein of Bedford, Texas. He is shown with an 11-pound, 4-ounce largemouth bass he caught out of Lake Grapevine, located just near the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, right in DFW. If you'd like to submit your big fish photo in our contest, simply go to our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Everything you'll need to enter is right on the front page. Well, the main thing we tried to show you today is that when that wind is doing that, and those waves are white capping big swells, big rollers, gusting over 40 miles an hour, if you'll be careful, if you'll choose your lake carefully, you can still manage to get out there and still catch some fish like we did today. Don't be dangerous. You would not want to attempt that on Sam Rayburn or Toledo Bend or Texoma, any of the big reservoirs you need to stay away from with winds gusting like they are today. Choose your lake carefully, have fun out there, and we'll see you next week on Thursday night, 10:30, or immediately after the Texas Rangers or Houston Astros baseball post-game shows, if either one of those games runs long. And we'll see you on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.